If you're running a business and you don't use this piece of persuasion psychology that I'm about to show you right now, you are leaving so much money on the table, it's not even funny. And the reason why is because humans work in a certain way according to behavioral science. We have certain underlying behaviors and ways we act that are pretty consistent amongst all of us, right? And once you understand these behaviors, you can then apply them to your business, you can apply them to your sales, you can apply them to your marketing, to your conversions. And through that, you'll be able to skyrocket whatever you are trying to get your customer to do. So, to paint a picture of this, I am going to tell you a bit of a story. Now, if you've been following my content for a while, you know I'm a health conscious individual. I try my best to go to the gym daily, right? I think if I aim for 7 days a week, I'll end up making it for 6. You know how it goes. But as part of me being able to go there, I've made it easy for myself to go to the gym. And this is a fundamental principle of human psychology and persuasion. I used to live in a house, right, that was 13 minutes away from the gym. You might think to yourself, who on earth calculates that they live 13 minutes away from the gym? Who knows the precise minutes? Well, I do. And to be honest with you, I've probably got problems. But anyway, 30 minutes away from the gym. And I live in a city, and as I used to leave each day, I used to think to myself when I was at the door, ready to go to the gym, it's a 30-minute drive. Have I got time to do the things that I want to do today in the gym? And I used to picture myself sitting in traffic, and I used to think to myself, have I really got time? And as a consequence, I couldn't make it daily. I used to talk myself out of it when I attempted to go each day. And I used to only actually make it 3 to 4 times a week, which is still really good, right? But anyway, fast forward a few years, I lived 8 minutes away from the gym. And I picked the place that I live based on how close it was to health facilities as well. That was like a big part of the decision-making process. So I knew it was only 8 minutes away from the gym. And as a consequence, I suddenly could find that I would be able to go to the gym, I'd be able to nip out really quickly, and I'd be able to go 6, sometimes 7 times a week. And you might think, why is that important? It's really important because I trimmed just 5 minutes off my journey. I trimmed about 30 to 40%. But as a consequence, I gained about 100% of times that I actually went to the gym. I moved from 3 times a week to 6 times a week by reducing the time it took for me to get to the gym. And so why would that happen? The reason why it would happen is because, yes, I do have more time because I live close, but also the barrier to entry for me to go to the gym is actually way lower now. I don't have to think about it as much. It is not as much of a problem. I think that is now just down the road rather than through the traffic just down the road. I live in a city, there's traffic everywhere, right? So there's still traffic there, but I know I'm gonna make it to the gym in 8 to 9 minutes rather than 12 to 13. And just that slight change has managed to drastically increase the conversion, basically, of me being able to go to the gym. Now, why do I talk about this? I talk about this because that is a human psychological principle. The barrier to entry, the perceived exertion that a person is going to have to put out, the perceived ability that's needed, can drastically increase the action that somebody is going to do the thing they want to do. So in my case, it's going to the gym. But when it comes to marketing and it comes to sales and it comes to, converting people through email, getting them to open it, getting them to click through on your landing page, getting them to open the SMS you send them, getting them to, click on the advert that you've put out for them, getting them to click the content. It has to be easy for them to do, right? We as humans, and you've probably noticed this as well, life is busy, man. It is really busy, and as I've gotten older, in my mid-30s now, as I've gotten older, life has got even more busy, and it's just busy all the time. I don't want to waste time on things. I've got too much going on. I've got too many tabs open in my brain if I was like a computer, and I want my life as easy as possible. I don't want to have to think about things. And I want things to be easy for me because life is complicated and there's a lot to do, right? And the same thing works with, marketing and sales as well. And so if you are creating some sort of, if you've got a business, you're selling some sort of service, and however method you are selling it, whether you're selling it directly, whether you are, putting people through an email sequence, whether you're doing some sort of Facebook adverts, whether you're getting people through your website or your content, you have to think to yourself, how can I make this easier for the person to do the action, right? Do you have, and this is a big mistake that a lot of businesses make, do you have a landing page which has a ton of detail on it? Detail that the person would click open on your website and then think to themselves, you know what, I'll come back to this later because it looks important, but I don't have time right now to read it. Do you fill your emails with super wordy words? I used to think to myself that speaking in complicated language would show people how intelligent I was, would show people, how much of an authority I was in the subject that I was teaching about. But actually, what it does, and research backs this as well, is it puts people off because people think, I actually don't really understand what you're talking about. And even though it might be helpful for me, I'm actually going to skip you because I just don't have the cognitive capacity at the moment to truly understand what you are talking about, basically. And so you want to make things as simple as possible. Do you have a 3-step checkout? Can you make it a 1-step checkout? Or if you really have lots of things a person needs to fill out, can you break it down into small steps, right? Is the link that you're trying to get people to click in your email, does it make sense? Is it clear where they need to click? Or have you got multiple options for them to click so they actually don't really know where to go? Is your email 5 pages long when it could be just a few bullet points? Is the presentations you're giving packed with information and people actually look at it and they think to themselves, you know what, I don't really, I'm going to sit here, but I don't really understand any of it, right? Reducing the perceived rate of exertion that a person is going to have to use to get through the things that you need them to get through, to do the action that you need them to do, is one of the most important pieces of psychology that you can learn. And once you see this and understand it truly and start applying it and see the results from applying it, you'll be absolutely blown away. And I truly believe this is one of the reasons that people leave so much money on the table, is because they have this high barrier to entry for people to do the thing that they need to do, whether it's click the email, go through the website. Now, I'm going to caveat this as well. There is something in psychology as well where a person needs to work to value something, or they need to pay for something. My mum was a therapist. She was a therapist for 35 years until, bless her heart, she had a major stroke. But she was an awesome therapist, and people used to refer to her all the time. And she used to say to me that it was really tough when it came to family or friends that needed help from her, because she would instinctively want to not charge them anything. But she said people need to pay for something to get the result. Therapy is really only effective if the person actually pays and departs with money, and it's a little bit painful for them because then they try harder, right? And they take it seriously. And so there is something in human nature where people need to do something a little bit tough to get the thing and value the thing, basically. I have weights downstairs, and I just never really used them. I could make my gym trip a little bit easier by using the weights downstairs. They're like adjustable ones, they've got all sorts of weights on them. Pretty cool. It cost me a lot of money, right? I just don't use them. I don't use them because I think to myself, I just don't really want to work out in my living room. I value my health, but not as much as going to a fully kitted out gym, even though sometimes I will go to the kitted out gym and I will use the same equipment that I basically could have just used at home. But there is something, and there's a sweet spot where it needs to not be too easy. If you have a landing page or an email that makes it way too easy for the person to say yes, you will find that you will get loads of leads, and those leads won't actually do anything because they are unqualified, they haven't been through the necessary friction to filter themselves out. So you've got to find this balance. It's like a seesaw of getting something, making it easy for a person to do, but not so unbelievably easy that you get too many people who don't value it and don't take action on it. Okay, it's a fundamental principle of psychology. If you'd like these types of videos, leave me a comment, let me know, where I kind of just go off the cuff and talk about a principle rather than talking about kind of case studies, which I usually do. I love talking about this subject. I think behavioral science, if you have a good understanding of behavioral science and persuasion, you can do anything in life, because it is the study of how people make decisions psychologically and scientifically. It is so interesting, honestly, and I hope you guys enjoy this stuff as well. So once you've found that balance on the seesaw and you've got people to take action, that's amazing. But how do you get people to trust you? How do you get people to view you as the expert? How do you get people to view you better than the other competitor? How do you get people to reduce their uncertainty and, trust you a lot more? That is the problem that you're going to come to after you've got people to take action, because then they're going to question, okay, well, I'm in this now, but are you the right person to help me? Are you the right business to help me? There is a video that I made on authority that solves exactly that. I'll put it on the screen now. Go and watch it. Take care. See you in the next one.